Places everyone, places. We have to start for the second session. I'm running late. So without further ado, it is with great pleasure for me to welcome the next presenter who is consistent in excellence and depth of understanding. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me in welcoming our next presenter, Sponikosi Trevor Mbanza. Round of applause, please.
Good morning, everyone. Today it is an honor for me to come here and present our research project with the topic titled Relationship between Sleep Patterns and Academic Performance among UNC University Students. My name is Spongos Trevor Mbanza. I am representing an international bachelor's degree in electrical and communications engineering. In this project, I was with my co-authors, York, Murphy, Kennedy, and Tita, with invaluable support from our professor, Jonathan David White. So to begin with, we know that physiological well-being is directly linked to academic outcomes. This is shown through the global trendings that align with our research that indeed there is a lack of local research in Brazil. If you can look at that graph in the global Pittsburgh Sleep Quality Index, which I will refer to as PSQI from now being. So they did show that Taiwan has a high mean global PSQI, but even though that was a research for like a big region, we do have a lack of specific research on YZU that is linking what is leading to these stressors. So the sleeping stress is what is directly linking to GPA, which will uncover as we go onward. So in order like to base our research, we started to look at back. Pitcher and Waters conducted their own research back in 1997, where they came up with we come with the conclusion that sleep deprivation significantly impairs psychological and physical performance. So on the graph, I can only specify on the sleep deprived and non-sleep deprived. That mean 24.52 and 38.71. This is this is a comparison in logical reasoning. So sleep deprived people had like less mean in the logical reasoning, which shows that they had like issues because of sleep. So their logical thinking tend to be having a bit of a challenge. So also we have probability of like 5%, which shows that there is an increase in fatigue and confusion to those that are sleep deprived. Also, we also went back to Gilbert and Rivers research where there was a direct correlation between where they showed that there is a direct correlation between poor sleep quality and lower grade. So they also proved that those with poor sleep quality tend to have perceived stress and demonstrating a significant difference of around like 1% probability. So this confirms that sleep quality is a robust predictor of university success. So far, comparing all the research that was done like that, then we came to this summary. Uh, all in all, I cannot put everything in as it is, but their research did come to a certain point that point in the same direction as our research. So maybe I can pick only one that focuses on they say like the poor sleepers had a pure PCQI of greater than 5, which is like a standard threshold in comparison to other countries and something like that. So it shows that those with poor sleepers show a significantly lower CGPA, which is a cumulative GPA, and have a higher perceived stress. So with all that research, then we came to a plan to how can then our research be found and linked to the previous research. So to conduct our research, we started with recruiting UNZ University because this is basically based here at school. So we were able to gather around like 54 students, which were 18 years and above. We used a Google form in order to, to get our information, and then the information we used was the Petersburg Quality Sleep Index and the ISI, which is the Insomnia Severity Index metrics. So we use those two metrics in order to come to conclusion or to compare everything. And then to make our research to be straightforward and without any bias, we had to take like random people, even though we came to the point that we had to send our research to even our fellow colleagues to fill up the form. So our variables then led us to comparing then sleep quality and GPA, which led us to even started to get like outputs like this one, where you can see a very that data because like you can see like very bad sleep quality. We're able to even get a higher GPA, which we'll try to unpack as we go by as to why they were like these outliers. But then the very good sleepers did get a higher GPA more than like the very bad, which aligns with our research. So to continue, after gathering our data, um, we try to make it like random and go to other fields and other measures, and but then as we pick the predominant one, which was like the most common because it was a random research, where these ones it was from the arts department and administration, business administration, then electrical engineering was the most common one. So to go on, the big comparison was here on the sleep duration. If you notice, there's like a very bad comparison between 6.1 hours and 6.4 hours from very bad. That means like you can think that like very bad sleepers were sleeping like more hours than very good sleepers, which is very sketchy. But then there is a sleep latency. So the very bad sleepers will think they slept like really good or like good hours, but then they tend to stay in bed like the whole night, which we also try to find out as in why then they wrote like they were sleeping high hours even though they were in the bed, not literally sleeping. So to move on, this is where we were able to get our data. So the academic GPA, where we also noticed like they still like very bad sleepers, but still they were able to get like high GPA. Even then, we also have a very good sleepers that got like also a good GPA compared to the very bad ones. So after then, we started to look like individual people. We took like random few people to compare their time traces, like during the week, as to how many hours do they usually like sleep. Still, still aligned with our research because like the normal ones were sleeping around like 7 hours, 6 hours, up to 8, which is really good, and it's also aligned to their GPA, which is also a good one. But then the one that directly correlates with our research were the poor sleepers that were sleeping around like 4 hours up to at least 6 hours. And then there's the anomalies one. These ones were the ones that have had a very severe PSQI. So they slept like few hours, which was around like 4 hours, the top one. Then we came to a discussion. We can compare the late research that was done like when I introduced the topic. Then our research also still aligned with what was said by the previous researchers. With that, we came then to our conclusion that the results indeed confirm that the sleep quality is a primary driver of academic stress, and students with very good sleep consistent achieve top tier GPA, while those reporting a very bad uh, uh, were showing a significant drop in their GPA. Also, when a part of the outliers that were like getting like high GPAs, even though like they have like less sleep, we did find out that they sleep like less hours because they have to counteract they have to counteract for the grades. Then they take their grades as a high priority instead of sleep, which is which is not a good or a healthy choice. Uh, that's that's all I can conclude. Then we come to our acknowledgements. We like to take the opportunity to thank Professor Jonathan White, who was guiding us through and through, and then our authors also who helped organize and recruit participants, and all the one and everyone who participated in the research, including our colleagues here that were filling the copy survey. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Trevor, for such an insightful presentation. So right now, I would like to open the floor for questions, and please bear in mind that you have to introduce yourself and state your affiliation before posing the question. Anyone with a question?
My name is Murphy, and I'm a Yuanzhi University student. I saw you said CGPA, but I'm not sure about what is that. Can you explain about this?
Thanks, Mark, for the question. CGPA is a cumulative GPA. So maybe you're familiar with the GPA, which is like the grade you get like during a semester. But then the average grade that you get during like the whole of the other semesters up to a certain point is what's called the cumulative GPA, which means it's combining the GPAs from the other semesters, even though if you are in that certain semester. Not sure if I understand.
Okay. Question over here. Please come closer.
I'm a Renzi University student. My name is Sean, and so if you don't mind, can you go to the second page? Thank you. I want to ask what's global PSQI, and I think third or fourth page. There's also like not this fourth. Oh, sorry, five. Oh, six. Sorry. ISI. Like I don't get like these two.
Thanks, Sean, for the question. Oh, so P. So I think I probably made a mistake. Oh, there was probably a typo. But then it is a Pittsburgh sleep quality index and insomnia severity index. So this matrix is what we use to as a baseline to compare sleep patterns. The PSQI is the one that is used to compare the sleep quality of a person, but then the ISI, which is the insomnia severity, is the one that is used to compare how severe or your sleep or your insomnia is. So that's the comparison between the two.
Thank you, Mr. Sean, for the question. Is there anyone else who has a question? So, without further ado, I would like us to give Mr. Trevor a round of applause as he makes his way to the crowd. So, for our next speaker, I would like to welcome Melody, as he will be presenting about the points of Taiwanese food for local students and international students. And as he's putting on his PPT, I would like to urge everyone to remember to put their devices on silent and pay attention to what the speaker is trying to say towards us. So, thank you.
So my name is Melody, and I'm from Yunji University, and my topic is the point of Taiwanese food for local and international students. And this is my group member. We have Henry, William, and Harish, and me. And this is my overview. I will talk about the introduction and background first, and my tool, and I use the form and data collection. And next, I will talk about the key finding, the result and insight from a study. And the last one, I will talk about my conclusion, the different perception of food culture. And the first one is introduction. As the picture we can see, there are diverse food in Taiwan, and it combines the Japanese, Chinese, and some indigenous influence. And for local students, of course, the food is our daily life. And for international students, the food in Taiwan, maybe for them, they will feel challenging and exciting and unfamiliar. So this study will illustrate the cultural identity and social integration. So this, just like I just mentioned, I will talk about the background, objective, and significant. And this is my tool. We have over 50 international students did this survey. And next, I will talk about the difference between the dining halls and local restaurant later. And the survey also include food preference and cultural adaptation and the dining experience. And this is the local student perception. For local students, the food, of course, we will have a strongly connection with family memories and home cooked meals. And sometimes we are proud of our local specialties. And also some people love to sharing the Taiwanese food and Taiwanese culture to international friends. And this is for international student experience. Maybe they will feel the different impression when they first try the Taiwanese food. Some people will feel scared and afraid of to try the new food, and maybe some people will feel interest. So repeating exposure to diverse food options, maybe some international students will love the bubble tea when they first try it, and beef noodle soup is also very delicious. And I think they need to try the night market snack like the pig bucket. And food also became the gateway to understand Taiwanese culture and Taiwanese hospitality. And the next page, I will show the data of the 22.5% of students are unfamiliar with Taiwanese culture, and also 53.5% uh, they feel the unfamiliar integration is a major challenge for the international student. So the international student need to face the food and culture adaptation. The upper picture is shown 53.5% is a little familiar with the common Taiwanese dishes when they first try it. And the other picture shows also the red one, the 53.5% is a familiar integration when they first try the local food. And this is knowledge barrier to Taiwanese food. Of course, for local students, we feel the food is our day is our everyday life. But for international students, although over 80% value tests, they remain the value of unfamiliar integration. So this explains why many students only sometimes try the new food. Like the first picture, the orange one is 45.1% is sometimes when they try the Taiwanese food, not the always or usually. And the purple picture is say test and price is the the most important for us for Taiwanese and local students. So this is show the on campus and off campus the difference. So the core difference is the on campus food is the normal and safety choose, but out of the campus the food is more local and more diverse and more satisfaction. So the this picture is say the food in Yunzi University. So the green one and red one is 42.3 and 40.8%. So the food in university is for good and okay. And the food outside of the campus for most of people is better than the food in university. So this picture shows the red one and green one is 43.7 and 39.4% is enjoyable and neutral. So this is the similar and conflict between the food. So both local and international students care about the taste and price, and just like I just said, the test will have 83.1%, and the price have the 57.7%. So these two factors are the common language of food. And this is conflict. Maybe Taiwanese food, some food will have a cultural shock for those international students, like paper cake and stinking toast and or certain medicinal dishes. And this is the red one, 53.5% is unfamiliar integration. This is the most biggest problem for the international student for the first try the new food. So this is my conclusion. For local students, of course, this is our daily life, the daily choice, and the food in Taiwan is the common cheap and convenient. But for international students, the food maybe will have the adventure and exciting but challenge. And this is my reference. Thank you for this.
Thank you, Hong Yu Han, for your presentation. So now, as usual, I would like to open the floor for some questions. And before you ask your question, please remember to introduce yourself and state your affiliation. Okay, we have a question over here.
So I am Angie from IBPECE second year. So my question is, do you think the origin of our country or our country affects on how we will progress on adapting the Taiwanese food? Do you think that the origin of our country, for example, I'm from the Philippines, will affect the adaptation or the process of adapting to the Taiwanese cuisine?
Did you understand what you were saying? I think he was trying to say where she is from will have an impact on the way she adapts to the food here in Taiwan. Because she says she's from Philippines, so will that have an impact the way she adapts to the food here in Taiwan? Do you get? Um, seems like the speaker is not getting the question that's she's trying to pause, but I think they will try to discuss it over dinner so that Angie will explain better what he's trying to ask the speaker because I seem to also can get the meaning across. Anyone else has a question? Okay, that's a handful of hands.
Hi, my name is Constant D, and
Because the speaker is struggling with English, I would urge the local students to ask her in the native language. Maybe that way she will understand better the question that is posed. Hopefully that won't uh, have an issue with the policy of the course.
I asked你最喜欢吃什么台湾食物？
So my favorite food is beef noodle, and the beef noodle is my hometown the snack, my hometown snack, and I love it very much, and I eat a lot of different beef noodle in Taiwan.
I think with that response, he probably asked what is her favorite food to those who couldn't maybe understand what was going on. So
My name is Henry from YZU. You mentioned there are like around 80% people, international students, they think the food is good, but um, when they face the familiar like flavor, yes. So they are still like less willing to try the new things. So do you have any like strategies to let them overcome this situation?
So the school can help more like the food festival to for those international students and for them to taste the Taiwanese food and in the small portion for them to try the music.
Okay. Was your question answered, Mr. Henry? Okay. Anyone else with a question? Okay. Oh, so let me give some.
Hello, I'm John from EI. My question is that what's the biggest difference between local and international students' food preference?
You get the question?
I think the international students love the spicy and some heavy food, not the slack food. But in Taiwan, we love the slack food for
Okay. Hopefully that answers your question. Anyone else with a question? I think there was a hand over here. In the look of time, I don't think we'll be able to fully process your question. I think if we would try to ask her in person over dinner so that we could discuss more about that. So, in the absence of time, I would like us to give Ms. Hong Yu Hen a round of applause for her presentation. Thank you. So, for the next speaker, I would like us to welcome Henry, and he will be presenting about cross-culture palette, a comparative study of dining preferences between international and local students at YZU. So, as he's uploading his PPT, I would like to remind everyone to please pay attention and keep the noise levels a little bit low so that it would deliver the message he's trying to get across. Over to you, Mr. Henry.
Alright, so my name is Henry, and I'm from the Department of Electrical Engineering with Yuanzhi University. So my topic today is cross-cultural palettes, and it's a comparative study of dining preference between international students and the local students at YTU. And my group member is William, Parrish, and Eric. So before I went through the data, I will go through the introduction. I will introduce why we choose this topic. And next, I will do the research method, like how we do the research. And I will also go through the participant information, where they come from and what's their preference. And next, the most important thing is the survey results. And I will also introduce the iconic Taiwanese food from the food preference from the survey. And the last, I will go through the discussion and conclusion. So, why we choose this topic, why we focus on dining, is because we got a lot of the international students at YZU, and they are from like different background with distinct culinary backgrounds. So I think for them or for all the students at YZU, the school cafeteria is not only the basic facility to serve the food, but it like serves as a vital daily hub. So particularly for students living on or near campus. And another reason is that I think food directly impacts how effectively international students adapt to life in Taiwan because they come like from very far away, and I think the food is the main thing for them to adapt the culture. So our objective is to compare dining preference between international students and local students, and also to evaluate and improve campus dining services. And our research method is Google Form survey, and the target is YZU's international and local students. And we focus on food satisfaction, preference, and meal variety and availability, and also the eating habits and the dining locations. So we want to like use the survey to quantify how cultural backgrounds dictates to students' daily dining choices. So let's go through the basic information of the participant. So as you can see, here are 71 students in total, and although I know this amount is not really high enough to be like really persuasive, but I think like 72% of international students, this high percentage can say that um, how like how they see the food in Taiwan. So there are only like 28% of local students. So this survey captures a diverse range of cultural backgrounds, like they come from like different countries and eating habits, providing a strong baseline for evaluating international students' adaptation. And this shows that international students and local students how they see the campus dining and the off-campus dining. So for the international students, like more than about 60%, they they prefer the campus cafeteria. And however, like local students, like almost 80%, we prefer the outside restaurant. And as a local student like me, I totally agree this data because like when I was a child, so my parents always told me that you have to eat less of the outside food because it's like more salty and not healthy. So, but as a child, I just like the McDonald's or the fried chicken or the bubble teas outside. So yeah, so we definitely like prefer the outside restaurants. So the key insight is that international students demonstrate a clear reliance on campus dining service, and whereas local students predominantly utilize external food options. And this is a frequency of cafeteria visits. So like around 77% they students they eat the school cafeteria multiple times a week. And to be more specific, like around 53% they eat a few times a week, and also like 24% they eat every single day. So yes, so with over 77% of respondents eating at the cafeteria multiple times a week or even daily, and it is a critical infrastructure hub for student life, not just a place to serve the food. And this shows that where and how the students um, deal with the food. So still, the dominant source is the YZ cafeteria. It accounts for like around 40%. And the strong secondary option is self-cooking. And I think this also account for a large percentage is because some international students they tend to seek their hometown flavor or considering about the budget management, so they tend to cook by themselves in the weekdays. And as you can see, there's only like 9.9, almost 10% international students. They tend to do with their food with the convenience stores, and this data shocked me because I was expect a higher percentage of this one because I think Taiwanese um, convenience store they serve a diverse range of flavor. But as a result, this data shows that we still need have a lot of space to improve, like to add more flavor to serve the different people from different backgrounds. And so convenience and accessibility drive students to rely on the school cafeteria over readily available convenience stores. So what drives food choices? And this data also shocked me because I I initially think that the price is the most thing that the students will consider. However, this result shows that all of the students think the taste is the number is the first thing that they would consider when it comes to dealing with the food. So across all cultural backgrounds, students prioritize food quality and flavor above more convenience and making dining decisions. And these perceptions of campus Taiwanese food shows that like 82% think it is okay or good, but like there's only 5.6% think the food is very good. So I think this shows that there are like significant room for flavor and variety improvements. And these three are like the most preference food from the survey, which is fried chicken, beef noodle, and egg pancake. And these three, I would say, is the most iconic food in Taiwan. Like if I have to introduce the food to my like foreign friends or classmates, I would definitely choose fried chicken and beef noodles. And this shows that 43% think the off-campus food is enjoyable. And the reason is like more variety, stronger local flavors, and more flexible food choices. And only like around 10% think like have a negative comments. So international students have like highly reliant on the campus cafeteria, and the main reason is that they value convenience, accessibility, and meal variety. And for local students, we prefer the off-campus restaurant because we seek authentic, strong local flavors and flexibility. So the conclusion is clear, right? Because like students from different backgrounds influence their food choices, and I think this shows that I mean, if I have to make a clear conclusion, I would say that I would recommend the school to improve, like to add more diverse flavor to the school cafeteria to improve, to 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 please like all of the students from different backgrounds. Yes. And this is my reference, and that's the end of my presentation. Okay, everyone.
That marks the end of Guo Ziheng presentation. So right now, I would like to open the floor for some questions. And please remember to introduce yourself and state your affiliation. I would like to start with Ms. over here because last time was a good question.
I'm Irene from EC department. I would like to ask, as a Taiwanese student yourself, is Taiwanese food your favorite, or do you prefer any other country cuisine?
So as a Taiwanese student, I think Taiwanese food is really, really good. But there are still like different dishes from different culture, like Japanese, like sushi, something like that, or like hamburger, French fries from US. So I would say that I really like the Taiwanese dishes, but I also like the dishes from different culture.
Are you satisfied with the response? Oh, thank you. So now, anyone else with a question? I would like to start with the professor at the page.
Okay. It seems confusing to me, Henry, Jonathan White, confusing to me because you said number one concern is taste, right? Another slide though, you also show that students prefer off-campus dining, right? But they usually eat their meals on campus.
Sorry.
The number one reason they choose, students believe the taste off campus is better than on campus, right? Students believe food off campus tastes better than on campus, right?
Yes, but the questions are separate.
Yes, but you have the answer that the majority of students choose to eat on campus. You understand what you're saying? They say they prefer off campus resident eating at off campus, but generally they eat on campus. It does seem not make sense.
Yeah, maybe I didn't make it clear. So, local students prefer off-campus.
Yeah.
And for the international students, they rely more on the school cafeteria. In general, they think the taste is the first option when it comes to food choices. Yes. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Thank you, Professor, for the question. We'll take a question from this fine gentleman over.
So I'm Jay from EC, and what makes you want to choose this topic? Like, is it because you're just picky, or do you not like the food in cafeteria taste?
So the question here. Okay.
Yes, I think you're right because I don't think the food of the school cafeteria is really, really good. And another reason I choose this topic is because I think food comes to the first option when it comes to the culture exchange, something like that. I think food is like I can talk about I can talk a lot with people from different backgrounds, no matter where he or she come from. I think food is the common topic we can have a conversation.
Is the question answered? Okay. In the absence of time, we won't be able to take any more questions. So without further ado, let's give Mr. Henry a round of applause as he makes his way to the ground. Thank you. Without further ado, I would like to welcome our next speaker, who is Ukwambo Benji, who will be presenting about the use of AI tools among YZE students. So as he's setting up his PPT, I would like to urge everyone to please try to keep the noise levels a little bit low. It's a bit distracting for the presenter sometimes. So Over to you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Benji, and today I will present our research, artificial intelligence adoption, and cognitive impacts among students at Yunzi University. And this project was conducted by our team, is Harry, Jenny, and Jay, and which is under supervision of Professor Jonathan David White. Here's my outline of today's presentation. We will begin with the background, then move to our research objectives, provide an overview, explain the experimental techniques and methodology, present key results, and finally share our conclusion and next steps. In recent years, generative AI tools such as ChatGPT, Gemini, and Microsoft Copilot have rapidly become part of students' daily life. They should reshape how students study and complete assignments. These tools help students write essays, debug code, summarize articles, and even generate entire reports. However, this convenience raises an important concern. Are students become too dependent on AI, and is this affecting their ability to think critically? This question forms the fundamental of our research. Our study focuses on three main objectives. First, we want to understand how students at YZU using AI. Second, we aim to measure the trade-off between grade improvement and critical thinking decline. And third, we explore the ethical concerns students have, especially plagiarism and unclear institutional rules. In short, our study found efficiency gains but also decline in critical thinking. Also, students are unconcerned about plagiarism and fairness. We designed a survey using Google Forms based on technological acceptance models. Steps include first, survey design. Second, we random sampling. And then we collect the data and we analyze the data. Finally, we produce the chart. We conduct a quantitative survey using Google Form. Our participants are undergraduate students at Yunzi University. Our framework was based on the technology acceptance model, which focused on precise usefulness, and ease of use. In this part, let me explain the experimental variables we measure in our survey. First, tool selection. We ask students which AI use they use most frequently, such as ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, Grammarly, or coding assistants. This helps us understand whether students prefer general purpose large language models or specific tools. Second, usage frequency. We measure how often students rely on AI. Daily, often, sometimes, rarely, or never. High frequency indicates that AI has become part of their cognitive infrastructure. And third, critical thinking engagement. We ask students to self-assess whether AI makes them less engaged in critical thinking. Fourth, primary use of AI. We examine where students apply AI most. Assignment, exam preparation, coding, research, or writing. This shows whether AI is mainly used for technical tasks or broader academic work. Finally, we include perceived impact on grades. Students report whether their grades decrease, stay the same, or improve after using AI. So I take a screenshot of our survey. Our sample size was 41 students, undergraduate at YZU, and their age from 17 to 22. Also, there are large 77.5% of engineers is participate in this survey. Our results shows that AI usage is extremely high. Most students use AI daily or often, and many have been used for over 1 year. This means AI is no longer a novelty. It has become part of students' cognitive infrastructure. And ChatGPT was the most frequently used tool, followed by Gemini and Copilot. Interestingly, Grammarly has much lower usage. This suggests that students prefer general-purpose AI tools, can handle a wide range of tasks. One of the strongest finding that 72.5% of students report improved grades after using AI. Students say that AI helped them complete assignments faster, writing better reports, and debug code more efficiently. In other words, AI acts as a powerful efficiency engine. However, this improvement comes with a cost. 46.2% of students admit that AI reduced their engagement with critical thinking. Many students rely on AI to solve problems instead of trying to understand the material themselves. This creates what we call dependency paradox. Better grades but weaker thinking also have risk of cognitive authority. Another major finding is that 55% of students want the university to provide clear guidelines on AI use. Students are unsure what counts as cheating, especially because AI detection tools are unreliable. They are not trying to cheat, they simply want clarity and fairness. Based on our findings, we propose 3 recommendations. First, universities should have AI literacy education. Second, assessments should be redesigned to include oral exams, in-class problem solving, and projects requiring human reasons. Third, institutions should establish clear guidelines on how AI can be used ethically. In conclusion, our findings shows that artificial intelligence is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it boosts efficiency and improves grades for many students. On the other hand, it reduces critical thinking and creates ethical uncertainty. This situation can be compared to the ancient saying, water can carry a boat, but it can also overturn it. AI, like water, has great power, If guided properly, it can support students and help them succeed. But if it left unchecked, it may undermine learning and integrity. Therefore, the future of education lies not in banning AI, but in teaching students how to navigate it wisely. As the next steps, we plan to improve our survey design. First, we will expand the sample size and include more diverse majors and graduate students. Second, we will refine our question categories, distinguishing between academic and personal use of AI and between different tools. Third, we aim to add longitudinal tracking so we can study how usage change over time. These improvements will make our future research more comprehensive and reliable. This is the end of my speech. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Kwambo, for such an insightful presentation. I'll now take some questions from some viewers who have already raised some questions, who have already raised hands.
Hello, I'm Paul from Kingdom. And I want to share the experience of using AI tool, how to use the AI tools.
Thank you for asking this question. And I have using that tools for like about 1 year, and I use it to like search some concerned question in class, and because our sections are English, so if I have something like I don't understand, so I use AI to clarify my questions.
Okay, I hope that response satisfied your question, right? Okay. Moving on to the next question.
My name is Eric. I'm from ECE. Why do you think we had mostly the engineering students in the survey? Not from. Why do you think we mostly had engineering students from the survey? Why not the other departments?
I think this is one of our problems, so we can solve it in the future. Because I think our participant is mostly of our friends, and our friends is in this department. So this is why there are majority of engineers.
Okay, I hope your question was answered, Mister. Okay, I'd like to take the gentleman in the back's question. Please come closer.
Hello, my name is Doug. I'm YZ affiliated. I have a question, right? Since you said that your research shows that people have a decreased sense of ability for critical thinking, and we do know that AI has a pretty big tendency to hallucinate, and also it's biased to its training data. What do you think the implications are on the spreading of misinformation through AI? Since a lot of people seem to take what the output of AI just as is without actually thinking for themselves. And with the fact that it hallucinates a lot, do you think that's something that's really dangerous or possibly can be weaponized?
Did you get this question? Okay. Okay.
So I think that's because AI just answered our question directly. So after times we use AI, so we're not thinking more deeper. So that I mean, We're using AI more long time, so we're just copying the answer from the AI, but not thinking deeper.
Okay. Because of the absence of time, we can't take any more questions. But feel free to ask from the next speaker in the next section. But we try to approach him over lunch so that he could have the question answered. So without further ado, I would like us to give a round of applause for Uwambo Chayo. So for our next speaker, I would like to welcome Yu Mingjia Benjamin, and he'll be presenting about salary expectations and career planning of EE students. Let's give it some time to upload this PPT. Okay, the stage is yours, Mr. Benjamin.
Hello everyone, I'm Benjamin, and today I'm going to present my research topic, which is salary expectation and career planning of EE students. So this research is to understand how electrical engineering students think about their future careers, especially in terms of expected starting salary, preferred working hours, academic performance, and future plans. As engineering students, many of us are preparing to enter fields such as semiconductors, electronics, communication software, or power systems. Because of this, salary expectation is not just about money. It also reflects students' confidence, career goals, and understanding of the job market. So this is my outline. So first, I'll introduce the motivation for this research. And second, I will introduce the hypothesis. And third, I'll describe the method, including the questionnaire design and the data collected. Then I will present the results, focusing on academic performance, working hour, and career location. And finally, I will give the conclusion and explain what these findings suggest about EE students of career planning. The motivation for this research comes from three main points. First, the engineering job market in Taiwan is highly competitive. Electrical engineering students usually have many career choices, such as working in semiconductor companies, technology firms, research and development departments, or even going abroad for further studies. Second, student decision-making before graduation is very important. Many students begin to think about questions like, what should I work in Taiwan or abroad? Or what salary should I expect? Or should I continue my studies? This question can strongly affect how students prepare for their future careers. And third, there is a lack of local data. We often hear general information about salaries in Taiwan, but we do not always know what students in our own department actually expect. Therefore, this research focuses especially on electrical engineering students at Yunzi University. The main research question is, what do EE students expect from their first career step? This question is not only about salary, but also about effort, confidence, and future planning. So we have four hypotheses. The first hypothesis is that students' expected salaries are higher than the average entry-level salary in Taiwan. This means EE students may believe their major has strong market value, so they expect a better starting salary than the general average. The second hypothesis is that students who prefer longer working hours also expect higher salaries. This is based on the idea of effort and reward. If students are willing to work longer, they may also hope for better pay. The third hypothesis is that students with better academic performance expect higher salaries. Students with stronger grades may feel more confident in their abilities, so they may set higher salary goals. And the last hypothesis is that students with plans overseas study or work expect higher salaries. Students with international goals may have broader career ambitions, so they may also expect higher income. These four hypotheses help connect salary expectation with students' background, effort, competence, and future direction. So the method used in this research was used by Google Form. And the questionnaire collected several kinds of information. First, it collects basic personal information, such as gender, age, and student status. This helps us describe the profile of the respondents. Second, it asks about major related experience, including student satisfaction with the electrical engineering major. This part helps connect learning experience with career competence. Third, the questionnaire asks about expected starting salary per month, which is the main variable in this study. Fourth, we ask about the work preference, especially preferred daily working hour. This helps us compare salary expectation with willingness to work longer hours. Fifth, it collects academic information, such as the average grade from the previous semester. This made it possible to compare academic performance with salary expectation. And finally, we asked about the future plans, including whether students plan to work or study in Taiwan or abroad. By comparing these variables, we can better understand what factors may influence each student's salary expectation. So this is our result. For this slide shows the relationship between salary expectation, academic performance, and working hour. From the chart, we can see that salary expectations are not evenly spread across all groups. Many students' expected salaries are concentrated in a middle range, especially between 30,000 and 60,000 per month. Looking at the academic performance, students in higher grade groups are more likely to appear in higher salary range. This suggests that academic competence may influence salary expectation. Students who perform better academically may believe that they have stronger professional skills, better problem-solving ability, or greater competitiveness in the job market. However, this does not mean that grades directly determine salary. It only shows a possible pattern. Salary expectation can also be affected by internship, family background, industry knowledge, personal ambition, or understanding of the market. For working hour, the results show that 26 out of 41 respondents prefer 8 to 9 working hours per day. This means that most students still prefer a normal or moderate working schedule rather than extreme long working hours. The salary expectation in this group are mostly in the middle range. This suggests that many students want a balance between salary and quality of life. They may want a reasonable income, but they may not want to give up too much personal time. This result is important because engineering jobs are often associated with long working hours, especially in industries such as semiconductor and technology. However, students do not simply believe that longer hours always mean a better career. Instead, many of them seem to prefer stable working hours with acceptable pay. So this is our second slide of the result. This slide compares salary expectation between students who plan to work abroad and those who plan to work in Taiwan. We can see that students with plans to work abroad have a clear pattern of expecting higher salaries. In other words, students who want to work overseas are more likely to aim for higher income. So in conclusion, this research shows that electrical engineering students at Yangtze University generally expect salaries that are above the lowest entry level range. First, many salary expectations are clustered around 30,000 to 60,000 per month. This suggests that students do not expect only the minimum starting salary. Instead, many believe that their engineering background gives them stronger value in the job market. Overall, salary expectation is not only about money, it also reflects how students understand their major, their abilities, their future direction, and the job market. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you for the presentation, Mr. Yu Mingjia. So now I would like to open the floor for some questions. And please remember that you need to introduce yourself and state your affiliation before asking the question.
I'm Jay from ECE Department, and so you said that many students expect above entry level salary. And how about you? What is your expected salary?
Was the question clear?
For me, I think above 50,000 is okay. It's the ideal salary for me.
Does that satisfies your question? Okay. Let's take a question from this gentleman.
Okay, I'm John EI. So, what factors more affect career planning?
Seems like you must have read his mind. Just move the slides while he was asking. You're a magician, eh?
Can you repeat the question again?
Can you please come again? I'll try to interpret what
I mean, there's a
TikTok, Mr. Benjamin, you're running out of time.
there's a hard question for me, and I think this not a. I think I can't answer the question of this because we didn't discuss the factor of this.
don't feel ashamed because of that. It happens in the research field. Sometimes some questions they are mind blowing. Anyone else with a question? Let's take this one. We're running out of time. I'll get you the next time.
Well, I'm Paul from BEC. Because the AI era has arrived, the demand in the technology industry will continue to grow. So, can you predict whether future salaries in the market will meet student salaries expectations, or if there will be other situations?
You get the question?
I think AI will make many engineers to have more jobs, but I don't think they will like improve their salary numbers or improve their salary or like make them become a very make to have a high salary for them. Yeah, that's my opinion.
Okay, Julie. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Benjamin, for your presentation. Let's give a round of applause as we go to the. Okay. Without the waste of time, I would like us to welcome our next speaker, which is going to be Harry, and he'll be presenting about comprehensive analysis on AI adoption, cognitive impacts among students at YZU. So as he is about to upload his file, let's have a quick reminder about the rules that we're supposed to follow. Let's try by all means to keep low levels of noise to avoid distracting the presenter. And of course, keep our devices on silent for the same purpose as well. Over to you, Mr. Harry.
So, good morning, everyone. My name is Hardik Sharda, and today I'm going to present our research that is titled Comprehensive Analysis, Artificial Intelligence Adoption, and Cognitive Impacts Among Students at Yonsei University, Taiwan. So, this research was done along with my teammates under the supervision of Professor Jonathan David White from Department of Electrical and Communication Engineering at Yonsei University. So our research investigates how students use different AI tools and more importantly, what are its benefits and impacts on learning and critical thinking. Today's talk is divided into 5 parts. First, I'll talk about the motivation behind this research. Then we'll get on to the dependency paradox. Next, we'll see the methodologies and participant demographics. After that, we'll get on to the key results. And finally, we'll get on to the conclusion and future outlook. So, generative AI tools such as ChatGPT, Gemini, and Copilot are becoming an integral part of students' daily academic life. So, students use these type of tools for solving their assignments, coding, exam preparation, and stuff. So, this AI tools makes the learning faster and convenient. However, there's an important question. While AI improves academic efficiency, does it also reduces students' critical thinking and problem solving effort? So that's the main concern of our research. Our research objective is to see the AI adoption patterns among students at Yonsei University. Specifically, we wanted to understand how frequently they use AI, what are its benefits, and possible impacts on learning behavior and critical thinking. To do this, we surveyed 41 students at Yonsei University and tried to understand the relationship between AI usage and cognitive engagement. Okay, so one of the central ideas of our research is the dependency paradox. This paradox is basically a trade-off. So on one hand, there is AI, like we use AI, which helps us improve our performance and efficiency. On the other hand, excessive use of AI is excessive use of AI may reduce independent thinking and problem-solving effort. In simple terms, students may achieve better results while engaging less deeply with the learning process. This creates an important educational dilemma. How can universities encourage AI usage without weakening critical thinking skills? This paradox became the foundation of our analysis. So to explain this phenomena, we used cognitive load theory. This theory states that learning requires mental effort. Normally, students strengthen understanding through active problem solving and cognitive struggle. AI tools reduce some of this effort by quickly generating answers, explanations, and summaries. As a result, students may complete students may complete tasks faster but retain less conceptual understanding. So for this study, we used quantitative survey analysis. Data was collected using anonymous Google Forms. The survey included multiple choice questions, frequency analysis, and Likert scale response, which measured impacts on academic performance and critical thinking. So this slide shows the participant demographics of our survey. We surveyed 41 students from Yunzi University. As you can see from the pie chart, 77.5% of the students belong to engineering or technology related majors, and rest everyone else were from non-engineering disciplines. And the majority of the students were aged between 17 and 22, which represents the typical undergraduate population. So most respondents were this demographic is important because engineering students frequently interact with AI tools for coding, technical assignments, and computational problem solving. So this graph represents a strong AI usage. This graph shows how frequently students use AI tools in their academic activities. On the horizontal axis, we have the usage frequency categories: daily, often, sometimes, rarely, and never. The vertical axis shows the number of students. As we can see, daily and often students opted for mostly for daily and often, and very few opted for rarely and never. This indicates that AI tools have already become integrated into students' regular academic workflow. Many students also reported using AI tools for more than 1 year. This slide presents one of the most important findings of our research. Approximately 72.5% of the students reported that AI tools improve their academic performance or grades. This graph visually shows the strong positive perception students have towards AI-assisted learning. Students reported several benefits, including faster assignment completion, easier access to explanations, and increased productivity. This suggests that AI functions as powerful academic efficiency tool. However, while students may complete tasks more efficiently, this does not necessarily guarantee deeper conceptual understanding. So this finding becomes especially important when compared with the cognitive concerns shown in the next slide. So although AI improved efficiency, many students also reported cognitive concerns. This graph illustrates the perceived impact of AI usage on critical thinking and independent problem solving. On the horizontal axis, different academic activities are shown, such as assignments and problem solving. The vertical axis represents the number of student responses. Approximately 46.2% of participants reported that reliance on AI reduced their critical thinking abilities. Students indicated that they increasingly depend on AI generated answers instead of fully analyzing problem independently. So, in conclusion, our research demonstrates a clear technological trade off associated with AI usage in education. On one side, AI significantly improves academic efficiency and productivity. As discussed earlier, 72.5% of students reported improved academic performance. However, the graph also reflects the cognitive concerns identified in our study, including reduced critical thinking and increased dependency. This creates what we describe as the dependency paradox. Students perform better academically while potentially engaging less deeply with learning. Therefore, universities should not simply ban AI tools. Instead, educational institutions should focus on AI literacy, responsible usage, and effective human AI collaboration. The future of education will depend not on avoiding AI, but on teaching students how to use it responsibly while preserving independent thinking skills. I would like to thank Professor Jonathan David White. I would like to thank Yonsei University, the survey participants, and my team members for their support and contribution to this research. Thank you for listening. I would be happy to answer questions.
Thank you, Mr. Harry, for such an insightful presentation. I think even myself will ask some questions. But first, let me take it from the floor. Let's start with this gentleman over here. Can you please come closer?
Thank you. My name is Trevor, YZU student. So on your slide there was this part where you were showing on the cognitive. You know, yes, this one. I noticed like at the beginning you said like there were around like 41 students, but like when you try to add up, it's around 40 students here. What happened to the other one? At the beginning of your slide, I think maybe you said 41 students were, yeah. But then when you add this up, it's around 40, if I'm not mistaken. So what happened to when you add the total of number of students in your.
Mr. Harry, you miscalculated.
Good question though. I don't know actually how it happened. Probably some mistake while I was making the graph.
Okay. Anyone else with a question? Okay, over here.
Hi, my name is Hauser, and which AI tool you most frequently use, and how are you doing with this?
Did you get his question?
The AI tool I most frequently use is Google Gemini, and it's good. You can create images with it, make videos, and it's good.
Let me ask my question first before we're out of time. You will excuse me, Mr. Ovale. Mr. Harry, I was really quite impressed with your presentation. And I would also like to know what could you say is the biggest takeaway from your research?
The biggest takeaway of my research is the technological trade-off. Like AI like increase our productivity and helps us get better grades and good academic efficiency. But excessive use of AI may lead to uh, a degradation in cognitive thinking and problem solving.
Okay, thank yes, I was able to get my question answered. And I remind everyone, please try to be a little bit more audible because my colleague in the back is struggling to get down to note down your name. So whenever you're introducing yourself, please try to be more audible and be specific with your affiliations. Um, in the absence of time, I would like to end Mr. Harris' talk. And yeah, let's give a round of applause as he makes his way to the floor. Okay. For our next talk, I would like us to welcome our speaker, Harish Ram, and he will be presenting about the perceptions of Taiwanese food among local and international students. Um, is everything okay, Mr. Ram? Okay, let's give you some time to process his file. Now check for this one. This. Yeah. Okay, everyone. Let's give Mr. Harish a ear so that he can give his talk.
So good morning everyone. My name is Harish Ram and today I'll be presenting about our research titled Perceptions of Taiwanese Food Among Local and International Students. This study was conducted at UNC University by William, myself, Melody and Henry under the guidance of Professor Jonathan David White. Our research focused on how students from different cultural backgrounds perceive Taiwanese foods, especially in terms of familiarity, satisfaction and adaptation. So before starting, here's a quick overview of today's presentations. First, I'll explain the motivation behind this study and why food perception is important for international students. Next, I'll discuss the survey design and the methods we used for data collection and analysis. Then I'll present the main results, including food ratings, adaptation, challenges, and differences between Asian and international students. Finally, I'll summarize the major findings and produce some recommendations based on our study. So I think food is more than just something that people eat. It is closely connected to culture, identity, and daily lifestyle. When students move to another country, one of the first challenges they face is adapting a new food environment. Taiwanese cuisine includes many unique ingredients, flavors, and cooking styles, which may be unfamiliar to the international students. Because of this, familiarity becomes very important in determining whether students enjoy or accept local food. Food also creates emotional comfort for many people. When students move abroad, they are adapting not only to a new education system but also to a completely different lifestyle. Some students become more comfortable quickly, while others avoid unfamiliar dishes entirely. Because YZU has students from different countries, we thought it would be interesting to study how students respond to Taiwan cuisine in everyday situations. This study was mainly designed to understand how culture background affects students' perceptions and adaptation towards Taiwan cuisine. So, to investigate this topic, we conducted a survey using Google Forms. The survey contained 19 questions related to food preferences, satisfaction level, eating habits, and adaptation challenges. We used different response formats, including multiple choice questions, short answer questions, in order to collect and more detailed opinions. The questions were designed to measure both practical experience and personal opinions. For example, we asked students how frequently they eat Taiwanese food, whether they prefer cafeteria or off-campus meals, and what kinds of challenges they experienced while adapting. This allowed us to not only get numerical data but also understand the general behavioral patterns among students. In total, we got 71 valid responses from students of Yuanze. The participants were categorized into three groups: Taiwanese students, students from neighboring Asia countries, and international students from different parts of the region. And all participants voluntarily provided consent before completing the survey. So, after collecting the responses, the survey was exported to Excel for analysis. We mainly used descriptive statistics to compare patterns and trends between different student groups. We selected descriptive analysis because the purpose of the study was to identify overall trends and differences between groups rather than perform advanced prediction models. By comparing the responses carefully, we were able to observe patterns related to culture, familiarity, satisfaction, and adaptation. Our analysis focused on comparing cafeteria food and off-campus Taiwanese food. We also examined factors such as satisfaction levels, familiarity, and adaptation difficulties. By analyzing the groups separately, we were able to identify how cultural background influenced local food perception. So this graph shows the distribution of responses based on nationality groups. As we can see, the international students have the largest participant group with 46 respondents, and the local Taiwanese students accounted for 14 participants, while students from neighboring Asian countries accounted for 11. This was actually useful for the research because international students are the group most likely to experience food adaptation challenges. At the same time, including local Taiwanese students helped us to establish a comparison baseline for satisfaction levels and familiarity with Taiwanese cuisine. Although the groups are not equal in size, the data still provides useful perspective. This distribution also supports meaningful comparison between local and international student experience. So this slide compares student ratings for cafeteria food and off-campus Taiwanese food. The blue bars represent cafeteria food, while the orange bars represent the off-campus food. Looking at the graph, we can clearly see that off-campus food received higher satisfaction ratings overall. For example, more than 62% of students rated off-campus food as good, whilst cafeteria food received much lower positive ratings. At the same time, cafeteria food had a larger percentage of okay responses. This suggests that students generally prefer authentic dining experiences outside the campus. One possible reason for this difference is food variety. Off-campus restaurants usually offer a wider range of dishes and more authentic cooking styles compared to a cafeteria meals. Students may also associate off-campus dining with a better social experience, which influence their overall satisfaction. So the environment itself may also contribute to how food is perceived. So this graph represents the major challenges students faced when adapting to Taiwanese food. The most significant challenge was unfamiliar ingredients. International students, especially, reported higher difficulty compared to Asian students. Dietary restrictions and strong flavors were reported less frequently. Interestingly, some students mentioned that they experienced no changes at all. This finding was especially important because it appeared much more frequently than the other challenges. It suggests that students are not necessarily rejecting Taiwanese food because it tastes bad, but instead students simply need time to become familiar with the new ingredients, textures, and preparation styles. This supports the idea that food adaptation is strongly connected to cultural exposure. Overall, the graph suggests that cultural distance plays an important role in food adaptation. So this pie chart focuses especially on Asian students' perception of Taiwanese food. Most Asian students rated the food positively, with the majority selecting good. Only a small percentage reported poor experience. This result may not be very surprising because many Asian countries share the similar cooking ingredients, rice-based meals, soup dishes, and flavor profiles. Based on these similarities, Asian students may adapt faster and feel more comfortable trying Taiwanese food. This indicates that cultural proximity can significantly improve food acceptance and satisfaction. Overall, Asian students appear more familiar and comfortable with Taiwanese cuisine. In comparison, this slide shows the responses of international students. Here, the ratings are much more varied. A larger percentage of students rated okay or poor compared to Asian students. This suggests that lower familiarity with Taiwanese cuisine reduced satisfaction levels. The adaptation process for international students appears lower because the food environment is more culturally different from what they are used to. This does not necessarily mean international students dislike Taiwanese food overall. In many cases, it simply reflects the adjustment period required when entering a new cultural environment. With more exposure over time, students may gradually become more accepting and comfortable with local cuisine. When we compare this slide with the previous one, we can clearly see how cultural background influences food perception. So, to conclude, this study found that students generally preferred off-campus Taiwanese food over cafeteria meals. Cultural familiarity strongly influenced satisfaction and food acceptance. International students experience greater adaptation challenges, especially regarding unfamiliar ingredients. At the same time, repeated exposure helped students gradually become more comfortable with Taiwanese cuisine. Based on these findings, universities could improve international students' experience by increasing cafeteria variety and providing clear ingredient information. Although this study was conducted only at UNC universities, the finding may apply to other international universities where students experience cultural adjustment through food. Finally, we'd like to thank Professor White for guidance and his valuable feedback throughout the research. We also sincerely thank all the student participants who contributed to the survey. In addition, I would like to thank my teammates for the collaboration and support during the project. And lastly, thank you for everyone for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Arish, for your talk. I would like to open the floor for some questions, and please keep in mind to be a little bit louder when introducing yourself and stating your affiliations. Let me start with this gentleman in the front.
I'm Barry from ECE. So my question is, do you think international students' perceptions of Taiwanese food would improve over time if they stayed in Taiwan longer?
Did you get the question?
I think that's based on that's what our research paper is based on. I think the more you get adjusted to the culture here, you get used to the food and you'll actually enjoy it.
Mr. Harry, is your question answered? That's it. Where is the question? Okay, please remember to be loud, sir, for my colleague in the back.
My name is Trevor from ECE. So my question is, I noticed you said off-campus got like higher ratings compared to the cafeteria food. So why do you think is the reason behind that?
Okay? If you're okay, forget about it.
I think it's based on because the off-campus restaurants have more variety than the campus cafeteria, and you can explore a lot of food. Maybe that's why they prefer off-campus foods.
Okay. Like to take your question, miss.
So my name is Anchi from IBPECE. My question is, as an international student yourself, what are the challenges that you faced while adapting to the Taiwanese cuisine?
Sorry, just before you go. Were you able to get the name? Okay.
The challenges I faced is mostly I don't eat beef and I don't like a lot of dishes with garlic and soupy textured foods. So yeah, that's the main thing that I didn't adjust.
I hope your question was answered. Anyone else with a question? Okay. You have to come closer.
Hi, my name is Doug, okay, from ICU. So I remember in my first year here, I basically exclusively eat in the canteen. I basically go nowhere because, you know, and sort of in my current third year, I kind of go out more often, but I still stay in the canteen a lot. And so I saw this trend where a lot of first year students will stay in the canteen, while a lot of the senior students will go out. So did you manage to sort of account for that? Make sure that you don't have too much of a sampling bias.
I think mainly we didn't account for that, but it's mostly first year students that actually answer the surveys. So
Okay. In the absence of time, uh, that marks the end of our session 2 for the conference. And okay. And I would like to pass it to my colleague for.
Thank you so much. Okay, so it's lunchtime now. The department has gracefully provided us with food, and there's three options. You guys know there's a vegetarian option and a non-vegetarian option, which is two options. But there is one fish, the majority is pork, and then three vegetarian. So at the back, you'll see that. And I'll point it out for you physically so you guys don't take the wrong thing. But yeah, the one with the most one is the pork. So for those who don't eat pork, watch out for that. There's a vegetarian and fish is your alternative. For everyone else, just take whatever you like.
Hauser, you never signed here as being present. You mark absent, you fail the course. Jenny was not here either? Oh, Jenny did not come?
She also absent.
Are you sure? Maybe she's not here, okay.
She's not here.
And Vincent was absent too?
Yes.
Vincent didn't come either. So Vincent school, this has to upload to the department. They need to know exactly, we have to upload onto the internet to this whole bunch of information to track this. So this is important because the students do not have, from our perspective, they lose a lot of marks. Secondly, they have to attend additional classes during the get there. So they cannot use this at the end of the course. We have to provide study each week for 3 hours. So they will need to spend in class studying stuff.
That's all they will sign.
So yes, but they will sign here.
If they miss even one,
No, I don't know that's true. No, they need to they have to the mark we pay for everybody assessing everybody's wrong. So some people always have part of the cost and what the cost they can do that assessment. And it skews everything. Yeah. So yeah, so we can't have that's what we do. Okay, anyway, so it does.
我要是杏鲍菇吗？我要杏鲍菇吗？ 啊？等我一下。
What was that's for? What is this thing? Oh, hey.
I'm sure most of you already know, but later we'll have another attendance sheet. So make sure you sign that because if you don't, you're gonna RIP. So okay.
Stop the recording.